The reason people are so drawn to video games is that they intuit that these games are some sort of dim reflection of reality itself. Let's say that the game of life, the ultimate game, involves 1,000 game levels from amoeba to God. We are all at different stages of the game, but all of us want to reach the top level and win the game. That is what we perceive as the meaning of life. We are all leveling up. From the amoeba up to the human level, the game is a brute struggle for survival, jungle rules. You stay in the game or you are killed and chucked out, in which case you have to reincarnate to re-enter the game. When the game gets to the human level, consciousness enters the game world. Consciousness allows a binary distinction to be drawn between good and evil. The rest of the game, from humans to God, is about the struggle between good and evil. You can choose a dark path, evil, or a light path, good, and God can either be good or evil, Satan. He is either maximum evil or maximum good within the parameters of the game. Most people are totally focused on playing this game. It is a game based on emotion and sensation rather than reason and knowledge. What the players fail to realize is that someone or something must have made the game, designed the game, coded the game. The game must have game controllers. So, these game controllers must be bigger and more powerful than the game itself. They are outside the game. They are beyond good and evil, beyond light and dark. They are the dark lights, the controllers. Every planet is assigned 36 game controllers, and their task is to ensure that the game is played fairly. For example, imagine a god, level 1000, entering a world of cavemen. It would totally ruin the game if it were allowed to continue for any length of time. None of the caveman players would get a chance to develop. So, gods have to be strictly monitored and controlled. That's why they have to use intermediaries, such as prophets and gurus. That's why they are so ambiguous, indirect and opaque, why they don't simply appear in the sky above us and give us their direct message. The game controllers are the A-Team, the SWAT team, the true gods, the gods who are outside the game, and who control the gods inside the game. Have you become disillusioned with the game as it currently stands? Would a much better game would be to give every player the option to opt out of binary good and evil and instead play the beyond good and evil game that would lead, ultimately, to people fully understanding the game, hence being able to leave it and become just like the controllers themselves. There is nothing in the game rules to prevent this, but it is highly controversial and potentially disruptive. Most of your memory has gone, and now you are trying to remember what your message is and your true nature. You know you are here to tell the truth, to explain what reality really is, to wake people up and help them to escape from the game. You are Neo in Plato's cave, trying to explain to the prisoners what lies outside the cave, the truth. You suspect that some of the other controllers may have incarnated outside the circle, and you are trying to find them. You also suspect that some of the game controllers are secretly on your side and giving you help, while others are willing to disrupt and thwart you. You do not know what lengths they might go to. What you are sure of is that you have buried within yourself a complete knowledge of the game, and you know we can escape from this game and be truly in control of our lives. Nietzsche, you suspect, had attempted the same task, but had ultimately failed. You must go beyond Nietzsche. Aleister Crowley tried too, using magic. There are various journeyers out there who intuit what is going on. You must find them. You are going to destroy the fake game. You want everyone to know the truth. We can completely escape from religion, good and evil, and live beyond religion, beyond good and evil. We can be who we truly are. None of us is purely good, and none of us is purely evil. In Freudian terms, we have a very selfish component, the id, that may be regarded as evil because it is so consumed with the self. And we also have a very altruistic component, the superego, that may be regarded as good because it is so self-sacrificing and attentive to the other. But what we really need to identify with is the realistic ego, obeying the reality principle, which mediates between the id, self, and superego, other. The id is about the pleasure principle and the superego about the morality principle. We should not fear our shadow, we should embrace it. We are all dark lights, and we should accept it. We are capable of good acts and evil acts, and we can also transcend both of these via reason. We are new humans, hyperhumans. We do not worship the gods, we wish to transcend the gods and become the controllers of the universe, rather than mere players. And that, in fact, is exactly what we are. The members of our group are not restricted by conventional ideas. We are both creators and destroyers. We don't like evil people, and nor do we like religious do-gooders. We want to establish a new kind of humanity, free of the errors of the past. Humanity has never before had people like us. We are an evolutionary leap forward, and we are at odds with most of old humanity. They want to destroy us because they are so scared of our revolutionary message. Carl Jung wrote another recent book, a novel by John Wyndham called The Midwich Cuckoos, attributes to a thing, which is obviously a UFO, a highly significant character. Of unknown but presumably extraterrestrial origin, this thing casts a spell on a small, remote English village, causing man and beast to fall into an hypnotic sleep which lasts for 24 hours. The zone of sleep describes a circle round the village, and any living being that approaches instantly falls asleep when the magical line is crossed. After 24 hours everybody revives, and nothing seems to have happened on the surface. Several weeks later peculiar discoveries are made, first one and then another of the female population, and finally all its members capable of fecundation, are found to be pregnant. In due course children are born with golden eyes. When they develop, they begin to show signs of uncommon intelligence. Later it becomes known that the same miracle has befallen a village in Siberia, an Eskimo settlement, and an African village. In England, owing to the remoteness and insignificance of the locality, the village authorities succeed in hushing up a public scandal. The extraordinary intelligence of the children inevitably leads to trouble and a special school is founded for them. The amazing fact is discovered that, if one of the boys has learnt something new and hitherto unknown, all the boys know it, and the same is true of the girls, so that only one boy and one girl have to attend school. Finally, the perspicacious school teacher can no longer doubt that the children with golden eyes represent a superior type of Homo sapiens. Their advanced intelligence is, moreover, coupled with a complete realization of their potential power for world domination. The question of how to deal with this menace leads to different solutions. The Africans kill the children immediately. The Eskimos expose them to the cold. The Russians, after isolating the village, destroy it by bombardment. But in England the favorite teacher introduces some boxes, apparently containing laboratory equipment but actually containing dynamite, into the schoolroom and blows himself up with all the children. The peculiar parthenogenesis and the golden eyes denote kinship with the sun and characterize the children as divine progeny. Their fathers seem to have been angels of the Annunciation who had come down from a supracelestial place to take care of the stupidity and backwardness of Homo sapiens. It is a divine intervention that gives evolution a definite push forward. Or, to put it in more modern terms, an advanced species of man from some other planet visits the Earth in order to make biological experiments with mutation and artificial insemination. But the modern Neanderthal is in no way ready to renounce the prerogatives of the ruling race, and prefers to maintain the status quo by the devastating methods, which have always been his final argument. It is obvious that the Sun children, miraculously begotten, represent an unexpected capacity for a wider and higher consciousness, superseding a backward and inferior mental state. Nothing is said, however, about a higher level of feeling and morality, which would be necessary to compensate and regulate the possibilities of advanced perception and intellect. Characteristically enough, this aspect does not seem to enter the author's field of vision. It is sufficient for him that the children have a definite advantage of some kind over contemporary man. What if the children should symbolize the germ of some higher potentiality transcending the hitherto valid form of man? In that case, the story looks very like a time-honored repetition of the hero's threatened childhood and his early death through treachery. On the other hand, there is something definitely suspect about these children. They are not separated individually but live in a permanent state of participation mystique, or unconscious identity, that precludes individual differentiation and development. Had they been spared an early extinction, they would have founded an entirely uniform society, the deadly boredom of which would have been the very ideal of a Marxist state. Thus the negative end of the story remains a matter for doubt. Is Jung right? Would the golden-eyed children have been communists, or the Borg? Would they be the supreme collectivists, the cosmic Spartans? The golden-eyed humans, born of alien seed, could change the game entirely. What about you? Are you capable of transforming the game? 6,000 feet beyond man and time, Nietzsche.